There we are. We're live. So it's your favorite friendly neighborhood Dr. Ben's Comics here once again. We're having an interview tonight with Anthony Sica, creator of Venerella. And, without any ado, we're going to get the show on the road. We'll do our little intro song. Shout out to Ripperologist for creating the song here. His ode to VAMPIGLET. So we'll play this and then... we'll go.
Hey everybody, it's me, VAMPIGLET, and this is DrBensComix as a podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Uh-oh, the skull fell off the logo. Give me just a second. Damn, this thing is slippery.
She's a sizzle in the night, a shadow on the wall. With fangs like razors, she's the queen of the brawl. Not your average pork chop, she's a legend on the run. A humanoid pig where the moon meets the sun. Watch your step, she's slicker than oil. Her grin's the bait, your blood's the sport. A snort, she'll leave you be gone. No garlic, no steaks, no silver chain. She's got the power of hogs in her veins. VAMPIGLET's on the attack. This piece of bacon bites back. Comic book queen. Dr. Ben's Comics.
All right. That
was quite a composition there.
Yeah, that was my buddy. He's the guy that has the local comic shop around here. Rikus is also dabbles in music and is a fan of my comics. So he put that together for me. I liked it, but
very nice. There aren't enough saxophones in modern music today.
That's what I was gonna say. Is you're also, in addition to being the creator of Venerella, you're also a musician.
Yes, sir, I am.
You know what? I think the best way to what is your pitch? Because I mean, you've been out. You're not. This isn't your first rodeo, as they say. You've been
it's my 7th rodeo on crowdfunding. I got 3 issues of Misty America under my belt and 3 issues of Venerella. This is issue number 4. You were kind enough to do a wonderful review of my first 3 issues of Venerella. I really, I enjoyed it. I relished it. And you, believe it or not, a review like that kept me going, because there are times when I have said to myself, being an artist all around, whether it be music or comic book art or writing or whatever, and also having a career in the creative arts for 30 years, sometimes you feel like giving up. And to be honest with you, you gave me a little spark, to be honest with you, when I watched the review of Venerella 1 through 3, and I said, yeah, you know what, I am getting through to some people. It's slow going, but so this is my number 7 of my crowdfunding endeavors, and before that I published 6 issues of a comic independently before ever getting on Indiegogo or anything else. So, you know, I used to sell stuff out of my car. I used to meet people through Instagram, local people in Florida where I live, and they'd be like, "Hey, you into comics? Come meet me at Kohl's or the Target parking lot, and either Zell me or give me $20 and I'll give you a comic book." So, yeah.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like there's just, and I've been hearing like more people too, like that there's just, you know, like some people, they just have to make comics. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, like
well,
if it's, you know, 1 million people watching or one person watching, you know what I mean? Like that's just
the way I do it. If
anyone,
as long as they're getting paid for, you know, I'm going to keep doing them. You know?
Right. Well, you know, you think of like writers and stuff, you know, they're all, or like painters or something. They're always viewed as these, you know, they have this mystique of, you know, they're just tortured artists and they're just doing like that's the same thing with comics. Like it's
so true.
You know, but I mean, definitely being able to like pay for them rather than
of course,
give all your money to them is ideal. But yes, that's what I mean. Like that was the first time I had seen your stuff was with the campaign for Venerella issue 3,
right?
And you know, I backed it. I got the first 3 issues because I was like, you know, I'm not going to get the third one and then not have.
Yeah, much appreciated.
First, you know,
and I gave them, you know, I think I had the back issues at what, $10. You know, which I still do. If you back Venerella 4 right now and you don't have issues 1 through 3, I think I have them up for $10 right now also. So, you know.
Yeah, they're down.
I always want to get people caught up. You know, I don't want them coming in with issue 4 saying, "Hey, why does this chick have robot arms and who are all these characters and why does she have a mohawk and all that stuff?" Whereas, you know, someone who's been reading from the get-go like yourself, you know the score. So, you know, but it's slow going this time. I launched it maybe a couple days ago, maybe a week ago. And my first couple of issues, I used to fund the first day. But now I threw it up there and I threw it on, you know, the Twitter verse and the YouTube verse and the Indiegogo verse, which Indiegogo, their format change is really very, very astounding, to be honest with you.
Well,
it's very
profound. Like just this weekend or something, right?
Yes.
Isn't it? Like it's all, and like people knew that it was coming up this weekend.
And I launched my campaign the very day that they said that they were ending, that you couldn't launch for a week.
Oh no.
So I ran into that. So not only is the nation's economy and every algorithm is fighting me, now I had to deal with the Indiegogo algorithm too, because I literally launched the night that they were changing their format. And I think I squeaked it in apparently.
Right.
But I think it kind of was weird. And to be honest with you, I'm getting like 8 million emails a day from people messaging me on Indiegogo, and they're all solicitations. Okay. Hi, I'm Mr. Indiegogo Crowdfunding Solutions. Can I help you? It's not like people actually asking me about the book. They're asking me if they could, you know, get money for me to help market my book. So, you know, say whatever you want.
We can help you.
It was quite a surprise.
Well, I wonder if that's a lot of that can probably just be attributed to the whole, just the goof, you know, all the nonsense and complications from Indiegogo, like
right.
Saying like if you got in there on the last day, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
Before they're like, oh, by the way, we're turning all of this off because we're switching over. Like,
right. So, you know, and I've seen people on X talk about complications with their sign in or whatever. I haven't had any of that, but I know. But I imagine some of my backers maybe are going to the site and saying, "Hey, what's this? Why does it look different?" You know, those are considerations. You know, but
right? Is it? it was a different color on Indiegogo before too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was like it was red and black. You know, everything was very, you know, now there's purple and the fonts are weird and I don't know, it looks kind of odd, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. My pitch is, you know, these are the continuing adventures of my sexy sci-fi fantasy horror story that that you likened to you know, old Tim Vigil and Everett Hartsoe type stuff and James O'Barr. And, you know, that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from an indie aesthetic. You know, my whole thing is when I started, it was like punk rock on paper. I just wanted to get that real indie feel and that indie storytelling. I think a lot of comics today are so polished that there's no story. You can't follow it. You don't know, you know, you're in a spaghetti. Every page looks like spaghetti, you know, to me. So I don't know.
Well, it's you get like too many, you know, like the cliche, like too many cooks in the kitchen or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you have these Marvel comics or DC comics, and they have 5 or 6 pencilers, assistant writers, you know, tons of assistant editors, all these different people that are all pulling and pushing something. And you know, I mean, you definitely have a Marvel comic at the end of the day, but it's not. It loses the thing that like comics has. That's like that immediate like connection, right? Like between the creator and the reader. You know what I mean? Like,
and as a musician, the same thing is for all art. You know, there's a big difference between a pop song or a metal song or a rock song that's written by 20 different people and recorded by different people, and you know, people in the record label get involved. You know, there's a big difference between that and say, I don't know, a Led Zeppelin record where it's 4 guys' vision, or a punk band that has very limited resources and just the vision of the people, you know. So it's the whole aesthetic of that, you know, and also me, you know, I'm very humble, but I'm also proud to be the creator, the writer, and the artist. You know, I don't, you know, it's my take and it's my story and it's my, and you know, and I like that about the indie scene that did come up in the 80s and the 90s. And then even, you know, the early Image Comics stuff, you know, and even Image Comics now, you know, things where it's creator owned, you know, and there's not too many cooks in the kitchen, but because that would be just more people to pay anyway. So.
Right. I do have to wonder, like, are you ever looking to like have like a fully colored version of it, do you think? Or are you like, like just having
I would like it, but the thing is, see, I don't want to color the whole thing myself. And the whole, you know, what I just said is me having 24 pages or 32 pages in the case of Venerella. For me to have 32 pages of color, that means I have to hire someone, and I'm not really into that, because again, it's taking someone else's, you know, and I just don't feel like, you know, and again, my aesthetic is Love and Rockets, Strangers in Paradise, The Crow, early Razor, all those bad girl comics, the DN Agents, all that stuff that I kind of liked, you know, Femme Force, you know, Tim Vigil stuff, Tim Tyler stuff, all the, you know, those things that, you know, the stuff that they used to talk about on Cartoonist Kayfabe all the time. You know, it's the real black and white indie comics, because that's my aesthetic. And I'll tell you, Dr. Ben, there's already enough colored comics in the world. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
You know.
Right. No, I ask because like I know that's often like I get, you know, with my comic that's black and white, and like I've done color comics because like I get that from people like,
right.
It's black and white. Aren't you ever going to do one in color? And it's like, okay. And then when you do, like, they don't care.
Yeah.
But no, it's because I mean it like it's like I love the color on her, like when you for your covers,
Sure.
like that to me is like that's what sets her like so far apart, is because she's she's got that red, just bright red skin, and it's like it makes me think of like like those those old like sci-fi like airbrushed like the sides of vans and stuff. Like I could see I could see
definitely.
like having like your own van like with the Venerella like airbrushed on the side, and just be like not say anything about it and pulling up to shops like, oh yeah, that's my van.
No, that'd be great. I'd love like a wrap around.
I love your whole mystique, the the look of all of it is
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I loved when you reviewed it and you said something about Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really where I'm coming from anyway. When I did it, I wanted to make a sexy Barbarella meets Star Wars type thing. And, and that was the cheesy Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers-y feel. That's what I was going for. I'm 54, so I grew up in the, 70s and 80s where everything was like that. And, and I just, and also it's a good drama. It's a family drama. It's my book is about a family, so it's like dynasty. It's like a sci-fi dynasty a little bit. All the family members trying to kill each other and take over, and there's past relationships, and it's like a little sci-fi Flash Gordon-y soap opera, and that's what I wanted, and
right.
And
they're from Venus, right?
Venerella. Right. Yeah. It's in the future.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that reminds me of exactly like we're talking about with like that Buck Rogers and like Flash Gordon. Yeah. Like it reminded me of like a lot of like H.P. Lovecraft would had a couple like outer space sci-fi stories, and was always that like
It's John Carter from Mars. Yeah. H.P. Lovecraft. They're on Venus. Venus used to be like Earth. They had some global warming, I'm not talking like our global warming, but some real global warming. They had they had a little civil war. They had a little war against the humans and that were colonizing Mars, and things like that. And again, I haven't even, I've touched on that backstory a bit with her arch enemy, which is Mickey from the Mars station, who's, I'm not going to spoil while they're at odds right now, but they have a past. They fought together against whoever, and I haven't filled in all those blanks yet because I'm like taking a George Lucas approach. I'll worry about, clearing it up as the story goes on. But I've set up my protagonists and my antagonists, and they're all bad, by the way, which I kind of like. She's terrible. Venerella slaughters a bunch of people the first few pages of issue 1,
right?
Because she's mad about her lover being killed and her mother being killed and all that. So, it's it's
literally the beginning of the first issue.
Yeah, right there.
Them finding her in space, and then. They let her into the airlock, and then
and they think they're gonna party with her, but she winds up kind of eating them, and not in a good way. So,
just is she a vampire then? Is that like a space vampire? Is that how you describe it?
Yes, she's a vampire princess from Venus, and the thing is though. My vampires from Venus, the blood is like cocaine to them. It's like Monster Energy drink. They don't need to feed on people to live. They just, when they do suck your blood, they get strong because of it.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
So the vampiric nature is out of like lust and joy and not out of survival. You there?
Yeah.
You there? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
I lost. There we go.
You good? Okay.
No, somehow when I made my screen bigger, then it got
No,
got even more confused somehow.
no problem. Yeah, I have a storm going on too, so if you lose me for a second, that's why.
Yeah, that's it's been storming up here that like all day. So that's why I was like worried. I'm like,
Where are
oh
you?
shit, what if it's gonna start talking? But it
Where
seems
are
up,
you?
yeah, it's so. Okay, what did I write on notes there? Well, yeah, that's why I wrote down like political, like royal intrigue, like with the it reminded me kind of like of some of the stuff in Dune. You know how like Dune has all the emperor and then like all the different they're all in different having different schemes and whatnot because it's her family is the so there's like other people on Venus besides her and her family.
Oh yeah, yep. There's definitely the people. There's the people that you'll see in this new issue. So
fantastic. But yeah, so it's her family is like the royal family of Venus, and that was the problem in this that they were having was that she had killed all these American or Earth people in this spaceship.
Yeah,
when they were trying to have
what it is they had a treaty with the humans, and her killing those humans kind of put them in jeopardy of breaking the treaty. So Daddy was not very happy with her.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's relevant to today's headlines as well.
Yeah, or any fictional or any sci-fi fictional account has things like that.
I love it though. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not too. Well, I was gonna say, like you have like the hair covering all the key elements in the breasts.
Sure.
Then you have like this one. You've got her
taking a bath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I crack. I'm like, wait a second. He's got hair covering up all the nipples, but then just a big. Would that be a beaver shot? Would that be what they call that? Maybe.
No, I don't think I put that in there. That was something else. That was somebody else you're looking at.
That could be. Cracked me up.
You should see what I have in the new. You should see what I have in the new issue. By the way, wow. Some really. I've never really pushed the mature audience label on my book as much as I have this issue coming up.
Right on. Well, because you've got the trailer you've got over on Indiegogo here, so I'll play that real quick.
Okay.
And this is you playing, I would assume.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. That's
okay.
Oh. Fantastic. All right, that worked okay. Didn't?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have individual issues available for $15, I believe, and then I have a bundle, like always, $35 gets you 7 covers and 5 trading cards, and I'll have them to you by Christmas. You know, I'm half done with the book. If you blow me up large, I'll show you some of the covers that I have and some of the stuff available.
Yeah, here.
Enlarge me, sir.
Pull that out. There you go.
So you know, this is one of the covers, cover A, I believe. I do everything analog. I'm an analog kid. I don't do anything digital except the lettering. Everything is done by hand. Everything's on Bristol boards. And you know what? For $150, you can have this 11 by 17. You know, the actual original cover. You can get that. You can get the 7 issues, the 5 trading cards. I have this cover also available. And as you can see, this is V23, the robot that assisted her in the last issue. And he's got a bevy of beauties that he's saving, and they all have different skin color, as you can see on my color cover. I have this, which is what I like to call my Dr. Doom cover. This is my her, and also, of course, you know, if you know comic books, this is my Frank Miller Wolverine homage cover. So,
oh yeah.
Okay. as you can see by her hand. Then this is a cover of Nikki Drake, her arch enemy. This is also available. Nice boobage cover. And then I also have this. This is my splash page, kind of like a Conan the King type thing, but Venerella the Queen. You know, the story opens with she's returned home to see Daddy, and she's waiting for him on his throne. And then some drama ensues. There's another fully inked page, you know, stuff like that. You know, I have about 7 pages done for the book. My trailer suffered a little bit because, believe it or not, while I was doing the trailer, my home computer that I do all my graphics on took a dump, and I had to get some new equipment, and I was kind of like ready to launch the book, and I had no computer to do. I mean, I had a laptop, but I didn't have any graphics programs because I usually work on a Mac to do that stuff. But I figured it out. So it was a little plainer trailer than I'm used to, but yes, it does feature song written and recorded by my band and myself. And I'm just trying to get funded. I've always raised between $2,000, $1,200, $1,300 for my books, but right now I'm stalling at like $200, and I'm like trying to get funded at $500, and we'll go from there. I mean, you see, the thing is too, is that, you know, I'm pro Comixgate, I'm pro everything, all the stuff online, but you know, I don't appear on a lot of shows. As you could say, I'm very eloquent and I love to speak. I have no problem being on camera. I have no problem pitching my ideas or whatever. But it seems like my timing is always off. I'm either launching the day that, you know, John Malin's launching, or Van Sciver's doing something, or Mandy Summers or Dale Keown or whatever. And I'm just trying to, and I don't need to get a slice of the pie, but I'd like some exposure. I'd like to get on some shows. And I'm a little different. I think I'm an alternative to the glossy, shiny people that think in their delusional heads that they're anything like Marvel or DC Comics.
There is, like, I've noticed, like, a certain, like, there's the people that, like, they just read superhero stuff and, like, that was it.
Right.
And, like, they never got anything else. It was just Marvel and just DC.
And by the way, I love superhero stuff. I also love all I have Billy Tucci's Sheep signed poster right here. I'm a huge fan of everybody that's on all the programs and stuff. But, you know, for anybody to think they're
hit up Billy.
I'm gonna be polite. When there's people on there saying, "Hey, I raised $80,000 yesterday," and I'm trying to get $200, hey, I don't mean to be sour grapes, but can I get on your show for 2 minutes and just plug my shit?
Just a couple
Whatever.
of them.
You gotta love it. You gotta love people who are making $200,000 in 5 days and bitching about that they're not getting promotion, whatever. But
I
whatever.
mean, right. That's what I'm saying. It's all part of the,
Right.
But I mean, that's the thing too, is you can't look at it like, well, I didn't get this, so I'm gonna,
Oh no, I don't care. I just want to fund my book.
Exactly.
I don't want to pay my mortgage. Although 5 minutes on one of those shows might help me pay my mortgage. I don't know. I think art is subjective.
Right.
So I'm going to subjectively say there's a lot of shit out there too. By the way,
there is. That's
a lot of and I could say for someone who has a book called Venerella and someone who has a book called VAMPIGLET. I was gonna say there's a lot of ripoff material out there too.
Yeah, there's.
Seems like we're ripping off the same character, just in a different way, aren't we?
Yeah, well, mine's. She's a pig. She's like more of a.
They're all pigs, Dr. Ben.
They are. Well, this is. There is a lot of stuff out there that is. I think the strength you have that I would focus on is that you have your books, you fulfilled your books. This is your 7th campaign.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, that's, there are other people out there. I'm not talking people that are still here, still selling their books, but there's people that are taking the money. Hey, this isn't enough. I'm leaving anyways, and nobody's getting the book. That's happened times. Yeah, I mean, in all sorts of different cases, but I mean, that gives everyone just a bad taste. So I mean, that's what you know what I mean. That's what I'm saying. I saw you had issue 4 coming out, and I'm like,
and I just put out issue 3 10 months ago, and not to brag, but I squeezed in a Misty America in between the 2 issues. So look, the way I feel, it's the same way with music, or writing, same thing as an actor, writer, or whatever. You have to create. So even and also, by the way, I don't just do online stuff. I do go to shows. I work shows. I sell my art. There's more to life than just this internet thing. And actually, can I tell you what's so much I loved about your video you did? You actually took the time to open my book and read it. Do you know how many people are backing books and they never open them? I guarantee you half of my backers don't even know it's black and white inside, because all they do is look at the covers and stick them in a box. And by the way, I don't know if you've attended comic book shows recently, but that's all they do at comic book shows either. They buy these covers. Oh, I got 10 J. Scott Campbell covers and this this Cho cover and this and that. And it's did you read it? No, I haven't got a chance to, and it's honestly, I'm 54 years old. My dad was a truck driver. I grew up in New York. There were comic books on every drugstore, pharmacy, supermarket, gas station. He used to bring me piles back from truck stops. I read comics, and you know what? I do value. I won't be a snob. I do value nice artwork over story sometimes. Sometimes I don't care what the story is as long as the art's great. However, as an adult reading it, I'm like, if this story sucks, I'm not going to read it, because I actually read them. I don't care about key issues and who's the variant cover and all that. The only reason I do variant covers is because I crowdfund. Back when I sold stuff out of the back of my car, I had 2 covers, and because the truth of the matter is I didn't have an incentive to do more than 1 cover, but just because I was trying to create comic books. And the truth of the matter is, all these people that there's a difference between, and please, anyone watching this and now or later, I'm not trying to be pretentious, but there's so many collectors that there's no readers. There's no love. Are you a comic book collector or are you a comic book lover? And I think there's two different things, you know, and if you have no idea what my story is about, you know, don't back it. I don't care if you like the cover or not. I really want you to read it. I mean, you know, please read it. You know, hello, Omer Glitch. I want someone to read the book, you know,
Yeah,
it's just, no, I can't do the money grab because it's not even, it's not even, it's not even in my nature, you know, and I'm not being pretentious about it. It's just not. I want you to read my book.
Right.
And to be honest with you, if you're into collecting 7 variant covers and 7 books and 5 free trading cards, and my trading cards are awesome.
I mean, that is a good, like,
it's $35 bucks.
Yeah.
$35, you know. And if you want, I'll send you the first 5 issues of Pitt. I have multiple copies. It won't cost you $100. I'll give you 5 issues of Pitt if you want. Right, and I'll even tear out the poster and wizard and send it if you want. But
that you should add that on as an additional pledge.
I could give you a Pitt omnibus free with every purchase because I think I got enough copies of it.
Well, there's people that do like they'll bind like comics and they'll have like they'll have like a hardbound collection of like old Spider-Mans.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like I mean it does. I think it.
I'll tell you something. A couple of issues ago, it was either Venerella 2 or Misty America 2. I actually did send free copies of one of those comics with them, just because I was trying to get them excited about my other book. You know, so I actually took like a box of comics and we're giving them out. So you know.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, Omer Glitch, go on my website and click whatever Indiegogo says now. It's like, I don't know, reward or something. It's like get your reward. It's like really weird, but anyway.
I will say Omer's right here because like usually when I do like comics things, I complain about reading. Omer's saying that reading is for the birds.
It is for the birds.
We're asking too much of the art.
It is. I mean, you know, it's, you know, but I should just post my stuff on TikTok and say this is what the story is about, and that's it.
But with comics, that's what I mean. It's like with comics, it's like you have to have like the right balance. You know what I mean? If you have too many word balloons, or if there's too many words in the balloons.
And if you read my comic, I don't. I'm not Chris Claremont by any means because I hate. And by the way, I hate lettering. And you know what's funny? I'll make this confession. I draw the whole comic first before I write one word because it's pointless. I know what the story's about because I'm creating it.
Right.
But I'll actually wait till I'm done before I script it. And I don't even script it. I kind of print the pages out and I put little scratches on the end and then I write it as I'm laying it out because I've been a professional writer in creative arts since 1993. So I kind of feel like I know what I'm doing and I know how the story starts and how it ends even before I draw it. And it's all the middle 32 or 24 pages that I have to come up with, you know? So.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, I think you're doing. I like where it's all headed. You know,
It's one issue after another. It's just a big revenge tale. That's all it is.
Okay? I was trying to figure out how to like back it like while I was on the show, and like I don't know. I'm too.
Indiegogo is a mess right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I've backed other things, but I'm just like. Me trying to figure it out and like talk and then like and try to run the show so it's not
take your time later after I'm done. You can rewatch this and say, "Wow, look how handsome he is." I'm gonna back the book. That's all.
Right. Well, and this is the thing too. Is it's like it's I put the link, I put all the stuff so that people can back it.
Well, I appreciate it.
All the descriptions. I figured out how to get the show is now an actual podcast on like iTunes and stuff,
Wonderful.
Spotify.
Thank you so much.
All that. So, and like it says people are like downloading it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's just Omer with like 67 different accounts, like downloading this. You know, he has like a phone farm down there, or I don't know. But it's either way.
It's the proper name is Hookers and Blow, not Coke. Hookers and Blow has a better ring off.
That's his question. This is Homer asks, "Does your comic come with hookers and Coke?" No. Well, that's that, right? Coke is.
Yeah. You say Blow now, okay? Because we don't want Coca-Cola to get involved.
What does he say? I'm poor. I don't buy comics anymore. I can make an alternate cover for you for trade and give me a free sheet. Homer Glitch said, "What?
Hey,
what?
Hit me up in a week. We might do that."
He does draw Homer is fantastic. That's what I was gonna say. Once we're done here, is I hang out with Homer over on his channel. We have calling it the Art Night Show, where we all hang out and draw.
Nice.
I'll put the link in the I'll send you the link if you want to come by and make fun of us. Definitely.
Okay.
Sure. But that's what I'm saying is like it's doing the promo stuff is it's just you just getting out there and just assaulting people with your comic book is how I feel. Like I mean, I have, that's what I'm saying. Like mine is, a vampire pig lady. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm forcing that on people at conventions. I mean, it takes a certain and that I think like a lot of the Comixgate people, I'm obviously Comixgate or whatever.
Sure. And so am I.
But I think a lot of them are just, they've seen so many people that have come in and out and do the whole, the whole thing. Like, hey, well, I'm down too. Let's, buy my book. And then skedaddle on out. And so that's what I'm saying is I think that's the thing is just to, just share, because you've been on a bunch of other shows and stuff. Share.
Hey, I was doing Katie Did's show when no one was on there. I was when people were coming after her with the dog stuff.
Yeah.
I was covering her show for her when her internet connection would go down. And I love her, by the way.
They're still coming after with all that crap.
Great supporter of my stuff, but I can't get a second of airtime with the Keones of the world or the Malins of the world for whatever reason. But again, I do black and white, real indie 90s stuff.
Right.
And all that stuff is glossy. Let's compete with, the whole Eric July shit stuff. And I'm not really, I'm really not into that whole thing.
No, it's like, I get it definitely. Like, cause there is a lot of like with Eric, a lot of people that felt betrayed and everything from all.
Oh yeah, no. I think Eric's stuff is shit, but that's beside the point. But I'm not gonna give it any oxygen and talk about how shitty it is because it's not promoting anything. So no one's gatekeeping me. It's just I'm a small fish in a big pond. That's all. But the thing is, and I would never accuse anybody of that. But the thing is that I liked, before I got into Comixgate, or when I did start watching all the Comixgate, they would promote everybody, like especially new people. And even if they weren't, gangbusters sales, they would still push people and say, hey, check out this, and if you got a sale out of it, great. But now it's so much, there's so much infighting in the indie scene. It's stupid. And the whole Eric July thing and Ripperverse, I think most of the stuff is crap. Almost all of it's crap, in my opinion. And I've seen it. I've never bought it. And for people that will go out and say, I bought all these issues just to rag on them on YouTube, makes no sense to me. It's like, why would you even spend your money on stuff that you're just going to talk down to? But I guess, again, like I spoke when we started, that's all algorithm shit, and it's better to hate on stuff. I hope someone watches this and says and thinks that I'm being controversial. because then at least that would get someone talking about me. Let me tell you something. I used to go to cons in Orlando, and I used to talk to PTP when he was still in Comixgate, and he used to talk shit about everybody. And,
I would.
and the funny thing is, he talked so much shit about Dan Fraga, who was only half a decade late on his book back then.
Right.
You know, now he's like, what, 6-7 years late on Black Flag, whatever. I mean, come on now. You know, and by the way, I have Black Flag books right over there in the corner of my room, and they're great. I love them. But, my point is PTP was talking shit about Mandy Summers and Ethan Van Sciver years before he came out like he did. Full Dungeonaire smack talking about everybody. So, I mean, that's a guy that was backstabbing people when he was on things with people, Right. And
that's what I'm saying is imagine, people are coming around because you've got money or you've got a big fan base,
right.
And there's all that you've seen it like time and time again. That's what I'm saying. I get where they're coming from. Like they're not gonna, they can't anymore, or what do you know? I don't know. I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like I can't think about like. Is Ethan gonna have me? What he talk about?
No, I don't care about that either. Look, Ethan. I was reading Ethan Van Sciver. I was buying Ethan Van Sciver books in 2005. So, but the thing is like, I always tell everybody, if you're gonna be indie, and don't become what you hate. So when all these indie creators become all corporate, hopefully someone's watching this and they say, wow, what is he saying? If you're selling 1 million books, maybe you're not so indie anymore. I don't know. That's like the whole punk rock thing. It's like, I want to be indie and small until the record label sends me to Hollywood. Now I'm not. Am I a sellout? No. I would love to pay my mortgage, my car payment, and all my bills with comic book art. But if I don't, I'm still okay with that.
Well, that it kind of
putting out back issues over and over again, with new covers, and raising $800,000 for it is just grift to me. But I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. How many versions of the same fucking thing do you have to put out? That's all.
Well, I think with that is that what happened is that people got into that mode of that was what marked something as being like an import, like in comic book shops. It was like having like, you've got to have a bunch of different covers. And I mean, that's just, that's what people expects, or the market expects, I guess. What would you say?
Well, also, again, I'm going to circle around and say that's all about the collectible market and not about what is it, FOMO, or, you have to have it. It's not a new story. It's just the same story you put out a year or two ago with a different cover instead of making new content.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like some people, it's just they just want to be able to support someone. You know what I mean? Like the same, like I with comics, I know exactly what you're saying. How there's people that like they don't open them. They pull out the comic. They see, oh, it's this one. It's this one.
Well, and I've gone through. I've
collecting, and
I had 3 family members. I've had 3 family members die and gone through a bankruptcy and lost my career in the last 3 years. So I'm pleading with everybody, send me some money because I could use it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm talking about immediate family members, not distant. So and I was a graphic designer, creative director, and I pretty much lost my job to AI programs. So it's a tough predicament. But as an artist, I'm going to keep writing and drawing and playing music and appearing on these podcasts if I can get some exposure. And I'm appearing at conventions in Florida all the time. And And I bought Chinese food tonight before settling down to this podcast. So,
Right.
you know, and it is, you know what, Omer Glitch is totally right. You know, it's about a parasocial relationship. Be a parasite. They love it. You're right. I mean, I used to be on the programs about a year and a half ago talking shit about Eric July and Ripperverse and all that. And the thing is, too, I enjoy it. I think it's funny. But, you know, but it gets old after a while because you're constantly, again, I'm an old man on the lawn yelling, just like all the other things on the internet. When everything is negative, where do you find the positive stuff? You know, you find it with VAMPIGLET, you know, and Venerella.
Well, I don't know if I'd really say it's a positive book, but yeah, you know, I look at a lot of the internet.
I've seen a lot of campaigns lately that look cool, you know. So
right. Well, I think of a lot of the internet is a sort of kayfabe, where you know, I mean, people will just say just horrendous things to each other, right? And it's just to get a rise, just to get the reaction, just to see like, well, I said this. What are you going to do? Well, what do you know, like just to.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean,
I saw some.
It's hard to say it's good, but it's hard to say that it's bad too. Because if you say, well, if all the speech is bad, then what's the option to stop that? You know what I mean? Like it's a problem. But
like I'm real conservative, right? But I don't talk about my beliefs like like I don't really care if anybody knows what, regardless or not. However, I will see, I'll see stuff like the shit with the Batman or whatever. Like still people arguing today about Batman, whether he's going to beat up an Antifa person or an ICE person. And then I saw a comment, which totally was my opinion in the first place. He's not real. He's a fictional character on a page. Who the fuck cares? What are you guys even talking about? Who cares? Now, if you want to, the artist who drew it, if you want to have a problem with that person, great. But don't say, you know who Batman's going to side with, or you know who.
Right.
It's not a real person. It's a line. They're lines on a page. And everybody in their parents' basement takes this shit a little too seriously. Okay. It's artwork. It's entertainment. They're fictional fucking characters. You need to relax a little bit, go outside, so see some real people, and have a drink at a bar, maybe have sex with a woman or a man, whatever your thing is. But get some reality here. Batman is a drawing. Okay, it's a drawing. It doesn't matter how little his head is or how big his head is either, Graham, because Bill Sienkiewicz don't care how big or little Kingpin's head is either. It's just a drawing. Everybody needs to relax. And, you know, I don't care whether it's Batman, Cyberfrog, Venerella, VAMPIGLET, you know, cash grab guy, whoever pencils down Eraserhead. It doesn't matter. It's Pitt. I don't care whether Mandy Summers' character is Witchblade with a different costume, whatever. It's their characters on a page. They don't exist. No one cares about their politics, their religion, their sex. Get over that part and just start writing good comics, start drawing good comics. And let's not read every single line of every single comic that it's a personal attack against you or politics or religion or whatever your deal is. Okay. I know most comics in the mainstream are written by blue-haired crazy people. I get that.
Mostly.
But half the people reading them are crazy people too, if not 75%. So with that said, if you want some more controversial ideas spewing out of my mouth, please have me on your show all week long so I can promote my book. I'll come out and talk smack against anyone if it makes anybody mention my name, because that's my biggest problem. No one knows who the hell I am, you know, and that's sad. It's sad because I put out 7 issues of the book, of 2 books, and I'm at shows all the time. And you know, and I actually leave my house and go to conventions, and I send people nice packages, and also I have original artwork for sale at a very affordable price. You can buy the cover of the brand new issue for $150, and that includes all the books and the trading cards and everything else, you know. So, you know, I'm trying to yes, I do need to stream more, you're right. But you know what? I also have a life. I have to draw. I have music. I have you know, I'm barely working. I have a family. I have some pets. You know, it's a normal thing. I'm a father and a husband, and it's a lot of work involved, you know. So, you know, but yeah, if I could sit here and stream all day and sell books, that is my plan. That was my plan a few years ago when COVID hit. But, you know, again, I don't know. I think I should maybe just trace some G.I. Joe characters and make a book like that, or something like that, or maybe, you know,
$20,000.
Have a sex change, get some boobs, and I could sell some books. I don't know, you know. So I'm thinking of getting into the AI and doing it so that I can use one of those programs so I look like a hot chick all day while I'm on the stream. I can just catfish everybody to send me money.
That's what I've been thinking, that we need like some sort of like a female factor on my stream. Like that would really kick up a lot of the viewers.
Yeah. Matt Barr, believe it or not, Omer, Matt Barr used to be friendly with me years ago before he lost his mind.
Yeah. Chill out, Matt Barr.
When he was doing Rock and Roll Ninja, I had him on one of my shows, and then he had me on and stuff. But then I think he got a head wound and everything went south after that.
Yeah, something like I never quite knew. He became mad at me for some reason. And like I asked him, I was like, what do you, I don't know what you're mad about. What did I do? You know, what did I do?
It's a shame.
And it was I asked him in a DM, and he was just like, you know what you did.
Yeah.
Then he blocked me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a shame. It's a shame too, because like I liked his work back then. Like
yeah, well, catfish is all. Make sure you get.
I will. No, either that or I'm gonna be natural. One or the others. I don't know. Depends. Some guys have the small chested women too.
Right. Well,
we don't discriminate.
You got to experiment. You got to see what the
Well, that would be some experimenting, I think. But yeah, you know, they have these programs. I've seen them on Instagram where it's like a dude.
Where it turns into
the camera, and then it's like it's not him anymore. It's like Taylor Swift, and I don't know how they can get away with that shit. It's ridiculous. But anyway,
I don't. Next time we'll have all that figured out, and this will be Nurse Ben's.
Yeah,
Nurse Ben's Comix.
Much better. Yeah, and then 5 people will be watching it instead of 3.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, I do get people send to watch it, and then I've got it hooked up so like when after the video's over, it goes on to Substack.
And that's awesome. I appreciate it so much. No idea.
And then Substack takes it and makes clips from the video.
Nice.
With like it titles them, and then it also sends it to like I said, to iTunes and all the podcasts.
Right. Now, if Katie did make some clips of the video, I'd be selling some books. So you know.
Well, this might do the trick. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
Which, like, how many times I mentioned all these other artists? Maybe the algorithm will work today.
Well, finally pick us up.
Like Bloody Mary, you just have to say Ethan Van Sciver's name 3 times.
Ethan Van Sciver.
It's like Beetlejuice or Bloody Mary. You have to say it 3 times in a row.
You have to have like a pie with you at the time.
Yeah.
There's no pie, then he won't show up.
Let me go grab my salamandroid over there in the corner of the room.
Shit. All right.
I've name dropped every comic skater in one way or the other. So maybe the algorithm of YouTube will hear it and whatever. So
I think I'm like maybe like I'm controversial to the. I was kicked out of the cartoonist kayfabe groups, right, for being too comic skate.
Yeah.
And then I think like in the comic skate groups, I'm too cartoonist kayfabe.
Oh, isn't that a bitch?
I'm like, I like all the comics. What are you talking about? Like, because that's what I'm saying. I seriously, I love I love the '90s stuff. I love all the Liefeld and McFarlane.
Sure.
All of that. All of the.
Yeah.
But like all the the weird stuff, all the Daniel Klaus and Peter Bagg, and then like the weirder underground stuff, all the Crumb and but then all the newspaper stuff. Like I got collections of what is it, the Shmoo, Ziggy, and
you're a real reader. You're a real enthusiast. I got that. I get, just even as I said from your review, just the things that you were spouting out, I was like, oh, this guy is well read. He knows indie aesthetic, and and that's the thing. I would rather have 100 people that like indie comics to read my book than a million people that read X-Men. And by the way, I love the X-Men. Okay. My whole life, my whole existence of even loving comic books started with Claremont Byrne, Terry Austin X-Men. Okay. I get my first comic that I bought in a store myself was X-Men 113. Okay. I get it. Fantastic Four, George Perez, Jack Kirby, when they were reprinting stuff in the early 70s, all the Thor, all that stuff, like Make Mine Marvel. And then, everything that Justice Society, Legion of Superheroes, Teen Titans. I mean, the Teen Titans were everything to me when I was in elementary school, 8th grade, whatever, the first appearance of Vigilante and the whole Jericho Judas contract thing. That was like me as an 8th grader or a freshman in high school getting all that. So I'm totally corporate. But then after that, as I got out through high school, I saw Love and Rockets. I started reading Judge Dredd, and not the color ones, the black and white stuff, the reprints with the Bolin stuff and the stuff that was coming through. And then all the Fantagraphics, black and white stuff, and all those books, and then as the Bad Girl stuff, Tucci and Hartso and David Mack with Kabuki and all that stuff. That was my jam because, again, I had already seen the greatest superhero comics ever from the Bronze Age. I didn't need any more superheroes. And even today, like, I still buy a couple DC Marvel comics a month. But I'm just not, but then and to be honest with you, a lot of those I'll read I'll look at it and I'm like, wow, the art's really good. Like, I really like this, but the story's retarded. Jumps back and forth every page. You don't even know what's going on. Or this guy on page 3, his Batman looks totally different than it does on page 5. It's like a different character. Like, what's going on here? Like, did his iPad miss a thing or something? So, punk rock is so passe. You're right, it is. Wish I was the Sabrina Carpenter of indie comics.
Well, see, that's the thing too, that I kind of try to create. Like, that's the sort of space I want to create, is just a spot where, because in the indie comics and the mainstream indie comics, they don't like, as a general rule, they're opposed to anything right of Bernie Sanders.
Right.
You're just what, So I mean, and there's plenty of people that's the kind of comics they love. There's how many people are there, like old conservatives and stuff, old hippies that turned conservative that loved Robert Crumb stuff.
Right.
Like, if they tried to go find a comic now, they would be like,
right.
Like ran out of town, beaten up. Right. So, that's what I want to create, is like that space. And I've been getting more like Robert Crumb comics to go through on the channel, because it's like just catnip.
Right.
That's the one video. If I have like a Robert Crumb comic in the title, like, it'll just be just thousands of views, like, just insane. And I don't want to I don't want to feel like I'm grifting off of Robert Crumb. But
you should put Robert Crumb in every title then. Robert Crumb likes Venerella. Robert Crumb likes. You should even use him as a. point of reference for every comic, and every thumbnail should just have his picture and name in it, and then you're good to go. I mean,
you saw he's in November, beginning of November. There's a new comic. What is it? Tales of Paranoia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did order that. So,
well, I mean, it's like, like, let's go back to the kayfabe situation we're at. Cartoonist kayfabe and that whole group, they should have been so anti what they were anti. You know what I mean? It's like, because it's really hypocritical, because the stuff that they covered was all not really lefty type stuff. Yet they still, but again, no ill will against people that have passed on. But, apparently that guy wasn't very strong to begin with, will wise, because why did he let the internet run him out of comics and then run him out of his life? In my opinion, again, I know he was passionate about what he loved, but come on, man. It's like the Kurt Cobain of comics. Really, you because people are talking about you, you got to off yourself. And then his partner, who totally disavowed him 2 days before he offed himself, is ridiculous too. And it goes against every kind of aesthetic that they promoted on their show. These are the same guys who were showing spreads of Tim Vigil.
Yeah,
these are the same guys who were on YouTube showing spreads of Tim Vigil artwork with Harley Quinn blowing Joker. Okay, and then they're offended by what some girl said or what the internet trolls said. I mean, really, why did he even want to get validation from the corporate world of comics? He really didn't need it. Those guys were really on the cusp of some cutting edge shit that they were exposing fans to. And it was like, to me, it was like, I don't understand it at all. I think Pisker's situation was despicable, but I also think the end was despicable. I don't understand why it even happened.
That is, I mean, you're right. I mean, it doesn't make sense, especially. Like,
these guys were so rebellious, yet it took an internet controversy to make them want to kill. Make him want to kill himself. It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. You don't see Neil Gaiman killing himself.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
He won't. Wait, did you read those? You must have seen some of the stuff with Neil where he was. With the one girl, he was basically like using like emotional blackmail against her.
Yeah, I could tell he was a piece of shit anyway. I mean,
that's why I was just like, I can imagine these text messages. Neil, I made it through another day. How are you? Yeah. Are you okay? And he'd have to be like revert into like his wounded victim.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fake feminist and a fake everything anyway. And you can say whatever you want. I mean, I used to be a fan of Sandman stuff, but and then after several years, I mean, all the Good Omens, all the stuff, it was the same story over and over again. It's the same. He just had the same motifs, same themes. Great writer, by the way, but you could tell that he was. But if you couldn't tell he was a piece of shit as a person from 1,000 miles away, then there's something wrong with your perception of people.
Right. Right. He did.
I think all the greats. I think Morrison is probably a piece of shit, but I enjoy some of his work. I think Alan Moore is probably the biggest piece of shit in the world, but, I enjoy some of his work. I imagine, even though I haven't met him, Chris Claremont's probably a piece of shit, but, but again, what the hell? I mean, when are we ever going to,
like, how you ran into them? You know what I mean?
When are we going to, as people, separate art from artists too sometimes? I love John Byrne, and I've actually met John Byrne, and he was very nice to me. I didn't have a bad, but I imagine John Byrne, from what I've heard, is the biggest asshole in the world. But I love his work. It's never going to make me not pick up a back issue of his work and look at it. It's just not. He's a beautiful artist.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Homer Glitch
Who cares?
says Neil should be fucking more dumb bitches.
Yeah.
I see I'll go with you. I'm here for the hot takes. Yes, Neil should get more women into the hot tub.
He should have a whole coven, a whole harem. He should have a harem like in Superman.
Nico Holiday says, yeah.
Hey, Nico.
Perfect time for someone else to come in.
Yeah. Fucking after we say fuck more bitches, Neil Gaiman.
Right. Well, it is
By the way, that's the title of his new DC book, Vertigo book. It's called I'm Fucking More Bitches. Dumb bitches too. Gotta put the dumb in there.
That would that's some saying.
Well, that's the thing with and by Omar, by the way, that's the same thing I feel about piss score. I mean, like, why was it so bad that he was trying to he wasn't married, he wasn't doing anything lewd,
right? There wasn't any.
He didn't know the girl was. Maybe he didn't know the girl was underage. Who cares? I mean, it's just there was no physical contact. Who cares? And they made such a big deal about it. Such a big deal.
Did you see what there was a cartoonist from the Washington Post that was arrested? I think it was at the beginning of this year for like hundreds or thousands or whatever of images, right?
Yeah.
On his computer, and in jail, made bail or whatever, and the Washington Post said they were severing their ties with him or whatever, but he's on Substack still, like he's on there just complaining about Trump. I'm just like,
yeah, I know.
And he still has like people following him on there. So I mean, it's like, and that's someone who's literally been arrested for like not just like weird messages that could be taken multiple ways, like someone who's arrested for like literal crimes. And
Damon said too. He said, "Would you take it multiple ways, not just one?" And babysit my kids while you're at it too.
Oh, Jesus. So I mean, if some people get the pass and some people don't, and I mean that's what makes it even less sense with piss score, because Ed knew that. You know what I'm saying? He knew that there's like people that got to get away and there's people that didn't. So I mean, he should have just known. Yeah. Shit, I just do whatever I want now, and
Hey, do you like Led Zeppelin? Do you ever listen to Led Zeppelin?
No, never.
No. Okay. Has anyone ever boycotted a Led Zeppelin album or Jimmy Page? Because in 1977, Jimmy Page was banging a 14-year-old. It's a known fact about it. The guys in Kiss, the guys in Van Halen, they were all having sex with underage girls in the 70s and 80s, on a regular basis. And no one ever is going to come out in a tweet and say, I will never buy a Jimmy Page or Led Zeppelin reissue ever again. Let's understand times were different, and maybe they shouldn't be any different now either. I don't know. I'm not condoning bad behavior, but Ed Piscor messaging a girl that, say, 17 should not make him lose his career. Period. End of story. Hard stop. Whatever the kids say about stuff.
Yeah.
It's not the big deal. Okay. Just draw your comics, put your comics out, or make your movies or your records or whatever you do as an artist, and shut up about it. And everybody else should shut up and just, you know what? No one is ever going to say, I'm not going to buy that copy of Led Zeppelin because Jimmy Page used to have 13 and 14-year-old groupies in his bed. No one cares about that. But
you would think they would.
Everybody's bent out of shape about not what's that other writer who used to have a whole gaggle of women going crazy for him? The guy that was
or says his grandmother got married at 15.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're not canceling his grandfather. That's right. Buy Venerella. You know what? Everybody in Venerella that's having sex is over 18. I just want everybody to know that.
It's true. It's true. And from Venus. So
right. And they're from Venus. And In the
Real
first
convenience
issue,
store. That's
in the first issue, it's implied that yes, Warren Ellis, exactly. Warren Ellis is who I was talking about.
no.
You know, the thing is that Venerella has in the issue number 1, it's implied that her brother had some incest with her. So,
Oh yeah.
so you might want to cancel me because of that. Please do. If you
Right.
cancel me, then I would actually be on some podcasts. So please do immediately. Okay.
Well, now it's official now. So
I'm going to say Neil Gaiman 3 times too. Neil Gaiman, Warren Ellis, Warren Ellis, Warren Ellis, Ed Piskor, Ed Piskor, Ed Piskor. That's hard to say too. Hey, by the way, Ed Piskor should have got canceled just because of that snuff torture comic book he put out. Forget about what he said to that girl. Did anyone buy that comic when it came out? I bought the first 4 issues. Right? What was it called? Torture.
Red Room.
Red Room. That was the most bizarre, disgusting, depraved thing I've read in years. That should have canceled him. What is he worried about talking to a 17-year-old for? Did anyone read Red Room? See, that again, my point is everybody's buying this shit for covers and no one's reading them. I read Red Room, number 1, and I had to take a shower after reading it. And I loved them too, by the way. I loved it. I thought it was awesome, but I bought the first 4 issues.
He says, I have that shit.
Yeah, I have it too. And I loved it. But you know what? I really did. I had a shower after reading the first issue. I had to turn the lights out. I had to cover my head with a blanket. You know, it was bad stuff.
I think it's I think it's the 4th issue of the first series. I have a piece of fan art in there.
Really? Lucky you.
And I sold it last year. They let Ethan, you know, this is what I'm saying. Like, you gotta, Ethan let me on to he had the holiday sale. Everybody was going on there and selling pages of art and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
He had me on there 3 days in a row.
Nice.
The first day, I think he felt bad for me. The first day I had the original art for this, you know, the picture of Trump after he got shot, right? I had drawn a picture of that, and no one bought it. Like, it was like the most excruciating 3 minutes I think I've ever had when I was I'm trying to be like, you don't want to say anything. The other people are talking, so you just want to let them talk, and like no one is bidding on it. I'm just like,
you should have went on secretly and bid on yourself on a burner phone.
Then he had me on the next night. I can't remember.
You could have been Dr. Jerry instead of Dr. Ben.
Wait, that's what I'm saying. He did have me back on. Maybe it was only 2 nights he had me back on. Because then, like, I sold, that's what I'm saying. I sold the art from, there was the fan art. It was like in Red Room issue 4. And I told him it was probably haunted now.
Well, I have 6 pages for sale, I think, or 5 pages on my campaign for Venerella 4. Original artwork on 11 by 17 Bristol board, drawn with my little pen. And, you know, keep going down there. There, yes. Original artwork. And I showed you, when you enlarged me, I showed you the artwork. So all those pages, 11 by 17, and they're covers too, by the way. So you get $150 for a signed cover, and you get 7 comic books plus trading cards, plus, you know, maybe I'll put some nude Polaroids in there. You never know.
Hell yeah. I should get Omer to get off his butt and send you some money.
Yeah, I should. This Omer guy. Yeah, I mean, I got original artwork up there.
I didn't realize that was you're doing the original page, and they get the variant covers. Okay.
Yeah, they get all 7. So they're getting.
Yeah, I am kind of retarded too. Like I that's what I'm saying with reading.
Yeah.
Not a good reader, and like reading comprehension. I can look at things. So that's what I'm saying. Like I'm, you know, but that's, I mean, that's a hell of a deal.
Well, it's 1 of 1. It's not like I'm sending them a lithograph. It's the actual. Some of them even has white out on it. I'm sending a real page. Enlarge me again. I'll show you. It's a real stuff. Look, real stuff. You know, here it is. Here's the cover. Here's some covers for sale. You know, look at that. I mean, you know, you're talking about my hard-earned work, my hard labor, 2 days, 3 days of drawing, stuff like that, splash pages, for sale. So you get the actual artwork, then you get the book it's published in, then you get trading cards, and again, some used underwear, and who knows, whatever I had to decide. But back Venerella today.
That should bring him. See, we're getting more viewers.
Banners. What?
Nice. See,
Nice.
that's what I'm saying. I knew that would wake up Omer. He would prick his ears immediately.
Yeah. And I have, this new issue, as I said, Omer brings up some dick pics. There's an actual, let's just say there's some sexual situations in this new issue, but I can't show them on YouTube.
Well, I mean,
too risque.
I show everything on here.
Yeah, I know, but
yeah, the other places they will not.
No, we're talking about something that rhymes with Horatio.
Oh yeah. Well, they might. That's what I'm saying. Because now that I think about it, everything I've had has been hasn't been actual acts. Like it's just been like.
No, I have an act in this one.
I
have an actual anything to sell books. I'll put it in there.
Fantastic. Well,
we got midgets and Horatio.
Oh yeah. So you got
Venus.
That's gonna be my recommendation. Definitely get.
I'm actually gonna change the title of the book to Venus Wieners.
Wow.
I'm sorry I didn't come up with VAMPIGLET before you did. That's really my
oh my gosh. Like I feel like I'm just the smartest person ever with that. Like
what an idea.
I took it to the comic convention, and nearly everyone that's saw it would stop and they'd read it. They'd and I could see it, they'd be like, VAMPIGLET. And then they'd start laughing, they'd come over, look at it. Well, there was also some people would see it and get angry.
Yeah.
Like that.
I was having a conversation today with one of the teenagers that lives in my house, and I brought up Miss Piggy, and I don't really they knew the reference with Miss Piggy, and I even did the voice and everything. Hey, Kermit, doing the karate and stuff, and still didn't get it. And then I had to show him a clip to, oh, that's who it is. Okay, Muppets, puppets, whatever. But but yeah, VAMPIGLET, I love it. I'd like to do a cover for you, VAMPIGLET.
Yeah, we should.
But I'm gonna do I do a really sexy, skinny, stealthy VAMPIGLET. She'd be drop dead gorgeous, but then have the turned up nose. Does VAMPIGLET have a little squiggly tail too?
Yes, she has to. And hooves, the bottom. Her feet on the bottom are hooves.
Oh, nice.
Omer has been drawing fan.
So on her OnlyFans, she'd have some hoof pics.
Yeah, I guess I should have thought of that, but yeah, that's.
Yeah. I do anything I can to show feet in my book because I think it's going to sell something, but it really doesn't. You'll have stuff like this.
Uh-oh. Here, hold on.
I try.
I
try and show some barefooted aliens as much as possible. This is one of my favorite here. I'll show you this too. It's one of my favorite spreads. No pun intended or pun intended. Where is it? Shit. Stuff like this. See this panel here.
Oh, right, where it's
a little butt shot and foot shot, whatever we can get in there. I try and cover all my bases with the pervs that look at the book, because all those guys, they pick up the cover thinking oh, this is great, and then they never open it. So
where's
whatever.
Here, I'll show you. Let me open this. And this is Omer's Omer's Vampiglet that he did.
Wow. Is that a nip hanging out there, or is that just blood? Okay. See, it looks good. It looks like Venerella. She eats people, and yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can go like different weight levels. Like she's a vampire too. So I mean, like she hasn't had a lot of blood. Skinnier, more distended.
Well, I'm in Florida, and I just did a few shows of Biketoberfest, and that's what most of my female audience looks like. So
See, this is what I'm thinking too. Well, I mean, it's that. Like I said, I had her at the comic convention.
Yeah, you probably had several men come up and say, "Wow, that's my wife on that cover."
Well, that's what I mean. There'd be like sometimes there'd be the women that were angry.
Yeah,
and they'd be like their husband or whatever was with them, and you could tell that he was like trying like to not laugh
because she modeled for the cover. Yeah.
If she looks back and he's like,
yeah.
He knows that
half the folks at the con were cosplayers for Vampiglet, and they didn't even know it.
Well, that's what I want. I'm putting it out in the universe. I mean, that's the same thing I recommend. What you had like a Venerella cover though, or cosplayer though, didn't you?
No, that was just a girl on a YouTube podcast. I forget her name, Lady Red or whatever.
She was dressed up like.
Yeah, it was on her YouTube channel. Shay Red, I think Shay the Red's her name or something. She dressed up, but my Misty, I actually had real models. I actually had photo covers for some of my Misty stuff, Misty America, because I wanted to kind of ape the Evangeline razor covers that folks used to, double impact covers from the 90s. I wanted that kind of photo cover thing again to just, attract men and women to the tables at conventions.
Oh yeah.
No, really, that's really all it's about.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's I'm getting a copy, I'm getting a bunch of them, because that's one of the things I like to do is like I'll get comics I like and then give them to other people. That's what I'm saying. You got to like force them to other people. Like,
and again, I'll have 7 issues. So if you get a package, it's 7 issues for 40. I think my 7 issues plus my trading cards, it's $42. And I have to say, I raised my shipping just $1 or $2 more, because my last issue I did of Misty America, my shipping kicked my butt. It's like, even media mail used to be like $4 and change. Right. Now it's coming in at $5 or $6 every time, depending on where you send it, so. And a lot of my readers and backers of my comics, I'm in Florida on the East Coast, but a lot of people are from Arizona and California and stuff. So it's like it was costing me $5 to $7 to mail every issue, every bundle out. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to raise my price $2. Right. I mean, because, I'm not selling the first issue of Pit or anything, the first 5 issues of Pit or anything. So I figure I could afford $2 extra on the shipping.
It's fair.
And also handling, I gotta get in my car, drive to the post office, and mail the stuff. People don't understand that, Scotch tape and labels and
box things,
packing tape costs money. Those
time to do all
right. Those boxes cost money. And again, I'm not getting any younger, so the idea that I'm charging $7 on top of every package is not a big deal. But again, you're getting 7 books, and that's a lot of books, and 7 covers, 7 brides for 7 brothers. I mean, covers you're getting. That's a good idea. 7 brides for 7 covers. What a marketing genius I am.
Issue 7.
After I've already finished with everything. Yeah, that's right. No, when I do issue 7, I'll have 1 cover, and that's all you get. No, hopefully, and my thing is to, listen, Doc, my whole goal is to keep creating. So, look, I think I have like $210 out of a $500 crowdfunding. I got like 28 days or something left.
Right.
Please back my comic at the $15 level, at the $35 level, just something. And better yet, if you want original artwork, $150 gets you an original 1 of 1 11 by 17. It's not a little, I'm not going to send you a PDF file. You're going to get the original thing. You're going to get it signed. You're going to get blah, 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 blah of published work. My whole idea is publish or perish. I just want to keep telling my story. If I keep telling my story, then I'm happy. I sleep well at night by knowing that I'm giving Venerella to the world.
Oh yeah.
I'm giving my venereal disease, art to the world. And that's, by the way, where venereal comes from. Venus, Latin stuff, Harry Potter language. Anyway, the whole idea is that I'm just trying to get my stuff out there. It's a really good sci-fi story, as the doc will attest to. And if you're interested in my book, go watch his review or his critique of my work. It's one of the most, believe it or not, I have to tell you again, I was very despondent. I was very feeling negative toward my artwork until I watched your review, because it actually reminded me of some of the influences that I am using, that I'm proud of. And the way you talked about it made me feel like, as a musician, getting a positive write-up in a Rolling Stone or something. It really was like, and it wasn't like you were kissing my ass. You were just telling me, you were saying that this reminds you of this that you liked. And I appreciate that. Even with my backgrounds and stuff, because I see black and white books where I can't even pick out where the characters are, because it's what's the famous, and you could see in my work that I'm a fan of Tim Vigil, right? But even that, he goes a little too hard in my opinion, on the whole Bernie Wrightson look, where you see this black and white page and you can't see anything, like you don't even know what you're looking at.
Right.
It's like those 3D paintings at the mall in the 80s. Like,
the ones that you'd have to like,
it's a sailboat. Like you couldn't tell what's in the pictures because there's so much. I call that spaghetti illustration, when there's so much detail that you can't see anything. So it's a big bowl of spaghetti on a piece of paper, so. But
no, I hear you. I like I like stuff that like I can feel like someone made. You know what I mean? When things look like it's too slick, when it looks like it's just rolled right out of the Photoshop. You know what I mean? Like they just bloop, 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 and here comes, the whole animation sequence and the whole,
Right. And that's why I like the whole Liefeld McFarlane 90s look, because, you could tell that these guys weren't the greatest artists in the world, but they're cool. You know what I mean? It's like I heard someone talk, Ace Frehley just died from Kiss, right?
Right.
And here's why Kiss is so revered, even among guitarists who could blow Ace Frehley out of the water with one lick. Because when they heard Ace Frehley and they heard Kiss, it was super cool, but they also know they could do it too.
Right.
So in the late 80s and early 90s, when I was looking at Rob Liefeld's stuff, I was so excited because it was so action-packed, but I also realized that I could do it too. And, like as a musician, like I play bass guitar. I play all instruments. Actually, I started playing drums, then I went to guitar, then I went to bass, and I've always been a singer, right? But as a bass player who's been playing bass for over 20 years, and guitar and drums before that, I know that I can relate more to Gene Simmons. And by the way, Gene Simmons is an amazing bass player. Anyone that says he's not has never actually played Kiss songs. But compared to Geddy Lee of Rush,
wow,
I love Geddy Lee, but I can't play Geddy Lee. I can play Gene Simmons, though. You understand? And again, it's not about how technical you are. It's about how cool you are. Okay? And again, and think about it. The chicks, whatever, the women, Rush appeals to real cerebral type music fans and listeners. But someone like Kiss or Nickelback in a modern in a modern comparison, sometimes that you might think that's cooler just because it's more accessible or it's more you can mimic it easier. Rock and Roll All Night is a much easier song to play than Limelight. But art is subjective, you know what I mean? So my point is that Bernie Wrightson, I'd rather read a comic full of Rob Liefeld's artwork than Bernie Wrightson's artwork. Even though I physically, spiritually, and mentally know that Wrightson is a better artist, it just doesn't move me the same way. You know what I mean?
I see, like sometimes for me with I'll think of things like it's like they're too good. You know what I mean? Like I think of like Jim Lee stuff. Like it's like I can't look at a whole bunch of Jim Lee stuff because it's just too on the nose. You know what I mean? Like I gotta look at lots of Bernie Wrightson stuff. Like I can't,
like Alex Ross, right?
Yeah. Like with Alex Ross,
I know he's talented, but I don't like looking at his artwork because to me it looks like a photo.
Yeah. And I mean, I understand he's painting all of it. That's how it looks,
and
all
great. He's great.
But I don't exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it's just.
And Ed Piskor used to talk about that all the time. To be honest with you, he said, "I'm a cartoonist," or "This is a cartoonist," not so much an illustrator or a photoreal person. Photoreality, if you wanted that, then just look at a book of pictures of photographs. If you want some style, then you want the exact. And Jim Lee's early stuff had a lot of style. Look at like Gen 13 and stuff when everything was exaggerated. Or look at Ethan Van Sciver when he did Impulse, which was based on Humberto Ramos's initial Impulse. You had exaggerated faces. And by the way, look at McFarlane, all his Spider-Man stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Total cartoon, anime-looking figures, faces, expressions, webbing, positions. And Eric Larson, all that stuff. It's the idea that they didn't look real is why you like them. Yeah,
which I mean, with the same, that has to be coming a lot of it from Jack Kirby too, because I mean, he was doing that whole capturing that action and doing
you brought it right back to its source.
Yeah,
nothing Jack Kirby drew looked real. Nothing. His guns didn't look real. His hands didn't look real. His faces didn't look real. But they had the style that made you want to read the comic books. It's all about style. Look at my Venerella. None of my Venerella shit looks real, and I don't want it to. I'm a comic book. I'm drawing comic books. I'm not drawing real life shit.
Hell yeah.
That leg kick, that don't look real, but it's a comic. It looks like a comic book. Looks like a 90s comic book. And that's what I want it to look like,
Yeah.
Those teams don't look real, but they're not supposed to be.
No, I mean that's it. It looks It looks like a cross between like the old Conan magazines and the old Vampirella magazines.
And everything you just mentioned is right on my bookshelf, 10 feet away from me.
That's what I'm saying. Like that is. I wonder. Like, I guess you're the perfect person to ask this to. Like, do you think if it was in like what sort of difference it would be if it was at like that magazine size? Because like that's what like my VAMPIGLET thing. That's what I'm saying. You're the perfect person because we both have like this character that's essentially a Vampirella.
I think it might actually sell better, to be honest with you, because I have a good friend of mine. Have you heard of Tim Tyler?
No, I saw he has a cover for the first one, so that's what I was going to order.
This is Tim Tyler's work right here. If you show it off, I have for sale all autographed copies. Tim Tyler was featured on several episodes of Cartoonist Kayfabe. Tim Tyler ran a publishing company in the early 90s, late 80s, and he helped publish some Tim Vigil books. He also worked with Everett Hartsoe a lot.
Right.
There are actually some copies of initial runs of Razor that were actually published by Tim Tyler's thing. Anyway, long story short, Tim Tyler has a bunch of books. One's called Grail, and some other books, and he does like almost like a heavy metal anthology book where it's like it's one comic, but it's 4 different stories in it. Sometimes they're even connected, like a 4 rooms type idea,
Right.
and they're all black and white. And he does them in magazine format size, like Rolling Stone size, tabloid size, bigger things. And but again, he's a starving artist, even though he's been around for 20 years, 25 years doing this stuff. But anyway, he's very tight, and his stuff looks a lot like Tim Vigil because he actually worked with Tim Vigil a lot. So and a lot of his stuff is sci-fi or horror, adult stuff, has nudity, has violence, And what's funny is he's an actual big influence of me, and I never read his stuff before I met him. I met him in person, and then I saw his stuff, and I'm like, wow, his stuff looks like mine.
Right.
Great, and that's why he did a cover of my book. And he lives by me too. He lives in the same town I do in Florida. So
Cool. Oh, yeah.
But anyway, check him out. Go Google Tim Tyler. Again, he worked on a lot of indie stuff, and again, cartoonist kayfabe when they were around, when Pisker was alive, he covered Tim Tyler because Tim Tyler is a legendary outlaw comics guy, just like Vigil is, which is the way I marketed myself when I first came out. I did a comic book called Oh My God, which I did 6 issues of it, and it's a really good series, and I plan on bringing it to crowdfunding in the near future because I have it done so I could actually put out a trade paperback of it.
I was gonna say I saw rereading all this stuff. I saw like you had a shout out or thanks to Everett Hartsoe.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, you must. Oh yeah,
Everett Hartsoe was very supportive of me through messaging and things when I first came out. I haven't met him, but I was a huge Razor fan.
Yeah.
And when before COVID, when Hartsoe had announced that for the 20th time in the last 20 years that he was doing a Razor movie, and he actually picked an actress for it. It was the girl that played Polaris in the in that X-Men Fox show called The Gifted, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, it was the girl who played Polaris in the show. I had done some artwork for him with a character feature that looked like her, and he was sharing a lot of my stuff on Instagram and stuff. And this was probably before people were on X sharing stuff. So it was, and again, Tim Tyler, who's an actual friend of mine, used to work for him. He's done many covers, variant covers of early Razor issues.
Right.
So, I'm connected through him with that. But and I also backed a lot of his stuff years ago when on Kickstarter when I first, was on the interwebs looking at backing things. So, but yeah, I think I have a shout out for David Mack too and Billy Tucci because I was really fond of all those bad girl books in the early 90s, and also like Gen 13 and Danger Girl and all that stuff that, J. Scott Campbell was doing. And also, and of course, Venerella, excuse me, wouldn't exist without Lady Death because really I wanted to do a Lady Death type thing. And her red skin, of course, is an ode to purgatory. The Lady Death stuff. I think my first issue is actually, my first issue of Venerella is dedicated to Stephen Hughes. So, right on the inside cover, I dedicate the book to Stephen Hughes. Of course, original Evil Ernie Lady Death artist who died way too young, but. Lady Death was Polito's Lady Death was a huge influence on me about doing a bad girl book, and the original she, Razor, Lady Death, Evil Ernie, all started with black and white books like The Crow, you know, because they were all influenced by James O'Barr's The Crow. And I just, you know, and believe it or not, when I did my books, I was watching too many episodes of Cartoonist Kayfabe, and they were always showing Love and Rockets and, you know, Strangers in Paradise and all those really classic black and white books. And to be honest with you, as I get older, I don't like modern colors in comic books anymore. So I kind of like, in fact, I prefer like flats of the Marvel stuff. You know, I prefer the Bronze Age flat look. I don't like the whole where everything's metallic and chromy and stuff. I don't like that at all. I mean, it's just my thing, you know. But
what'd you think about when Piscor was doing the fake aged comics? What was it? Was he doing with the
X-Men and the I kind of liked him. I mean, it was cute, you know, it was nice. That. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing, you know, Tim Tyler, the guy I was just talking about, he still uses like Zipatone, whether it's real or filters and stuff. He likes to make things look aged. So, yeah, I mean, I'm 54 years old. So, you know, everything to me, I like pulp. I like, what's his face? Alterna Comics, is it?
Yes, Peter Simeti.
I love Peter Simeti's books that they're on newsprint and stuff. You know, I dig that. And by the way, I don't think it's nostalgia. I just think it looks better. I just think it feels better, looks better. You know, I mean, the current Marvel and DC comics are like they're printed on toilet paper. You know, they're glossy, but the paper's so thin, you hold it up, you see the light through it, you see everything, you know. I also like, by the way, I totally appreciate what you said about my book, the fact that I chose a dull paper, a matte paper to print it on. Why would you print black and white on gloss? It's stupid. That's ridiculous. That, you know, and believe me, if my printer could do it on newsprint, I would have done that too, because I appreciate that. It's like the old Conan magazines. The Conan magazines were on the dullest matte paper you could find. Didn't matter what the cut. And just like, and by the way, let's call a spade, Doc. My book is called Venerella. Okay. When you picked up Vampirella, was it in color? No. The cover was, but the inside wasn't. Just like Savage Sword of Conan or the Hulk, you know, the Marvel books they had. They were all black and white. They were all pulpy on the inside, glossy on the outside. And that's what I wanted my book to look like. When I started Wild Mercury Comics, my very first tagline was, it's like punk rock on paper. I wanted a real do-it-yourself, rootsy look on my product, you know. Because eventually everybody will go back to that anyway, you know. And by the way, Peter Simeti's newsprint comics, I love them. They are amazing. They smell like a comic. They feel like a comic. And there's a lot of good work coming out of that company. And I don't know why they're not bigger than they are. Okay. And also, I'm going to bring up another name. If you would really just humor me for a second. Everybody talks about indie comic publishers like Polito with, you know, Lady Death and stuff. Why doesn't anybody talk about Broadsword Comics with Jim Ballant? The guy has been publishing independent comics for 30 years with no corporate backing.
Does he do like other people too, or is it, I know he does that? Tarot. That's it. He's been publishing it for 30 years. No one talks about him. No, I don't know why. Like, I get it. Every time I see his Catwomen comics,
but his Broadsword comics, the Black Rose, Tarot Witch of the Black Rose, they're gorgeous, and it's adult themed, but the artwork is just as good as his Catwoman, if not better. 30 years this year he's been publishing it. What the heck?
Oh, like nobody.
I don't know what it is, you know. I don't know what it is, but my point is
weird.
Comics are very weird, very weird, very weird. You know, well, we're weird, the two of us. But you know, I mean, the whole thing is weird. But you know, that's what I'm saying. Everybody talks about indie comics. That's a prime example. Just like Polito, just like Lady Death, he's got a really good thing going, and it's still going. Doesn't matter if Diamond's out of business or not. He still publishes his books, you know.
And it's like his art is that just perfect, you know. Just you look at it and you're just like, oh, that's
right, perfect 90s.
That's it.
Yeah, and you know he did 80 issues of Catwoman.
Is it in color or is it black and white? The tarot.
It is. It is color. It is color. It's done by his wife. His wife used to do Archie comics, and she's his colorist, and really good stuff. Really good stuff. But again, independently owned, successful comics that actually do compete with mainstream comics because the quality is there. You know what I mean? You know, anyone who says that Ripperverse competes with mainstream comics is on drugs because, you know, when you say, wow, I sold 5,000 copies of whatever my business, well, the truth of the matter is 5,000 copies, if you were a Marvel title, you would have been canceled after one issue if you only sold 5,000 copies, you know? And and again, those folks, no offense, I think the folks that buy those comics, at least initially, we're buying them just to collect them because they know the guy on YouTube and probably never open it, you know. But
that's what they're calling like cultural war bonds.
Yeah, it's just it's love bombing a cultural icon or someone that you follow, you know. You know, I mean, I don't care how good Ethan is artist, or I'm sorry, how good a YouTube personality is. If I wasn't a fan of his beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous artwork, I would never back him. I mean, I don't care how funny he is. It's like you don't listen to Howard Stern to buy comic books, right?
Right. Well, I think that's why he's got, you know, he's got shirts, he's got hats, he's got toys. So, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Like I bought, he had the Cyber Frog one with the Trump cover. I missed it when it came out.
No. I have Dale Keown t-shirts that with his covers on it. I have all his toys, but I also am a fan of his comic book art. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I picked up Green Lantern Rebirth on the stands when it came out. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I made my own shirt. A Piglet shirt.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
See, that's what I was gonna ask too. Is that because have you done like shirts or any kind of?
I have Misty America hats.
Okay,
but I haven't done any Vampirella merch yet. No,
I could see,
and I love it. You know, the black. You know, you've seen my covers, like in even that. Yeah. You know, those that would look great on a black T-shirt, and inexpensive too, because I like that whole monochrome. You know, just red one color shirt. You know. So yeah, in fact, I used to have a band where we had this song called Vampire Bride, and that was our tour. We called it, you know, it was like Scream for Blood tour or whatever. And we did shirts like that where it was just one color with red ink. You know, it was a black shirt with red on it, and you know, those sold well and stuff. So. You know, I like those Nazi colors, that black, white, and red. I like that. It seems like it's good marketing color.
It is popular.
It's tough, yeah. Yeah, I like it. You know, I like that color scheme. But you know, it's you know, no, my point is with the comic book, the reason I wouldn't buy a comic book from him is because, and I'm not talking about modern Howard Stern, I'm talking about like 30 years ago Howard Stern, Private Parts Howard Stern. Private Parts was a shitty book, but Howard Stern back then, listening to him was entertaining. But again, I'm not following him for his comic books. I'm following him because of his radio personality, you know, which I think a lot of people jump on the Ethan bandwagon more for his YouTube personality than his actual artwork, which is a shame because he's one of the best former DC artists there ever was, in my opinion, but that's beside the point, you know.
That's what I was gonna say, like earlier, like meeting people that like they don't really read the books. They just like to they just like to have them in the bag, or they have them like in the CGC thing, and they just have the cover.
Right.
Like it's not like the way I like, but I don't like to enjoy comics just showing off the cover.
And like, do you have any slabbed comics? I only have one in my entire life. Uh-oh, what's he pulling out? He's gonna pull out Amazing Fantasy or something.
I have my bit that I always do here for the promise here on Dr. Ben's Comics is that when we reach 500 subscribers, you're going to open up the only CGC comic I have, this issue number 2 of Arcade, the Comics Review.
It's great.
Currently, I
Big
think the most
5.5 there too, huh?
Open it up with a chainsaw. I think that would be.
He's got a big 5.5 review rating on it.
Yeah, it's mint 5.5. You know.
Actually, there is a mint stuck somewhere between pages 6 and 8.
But yeah,
I only own one slab comic, and it's a first appearance of Nightwing in Tales of the Teen Titans, whatever number it is.
Right.
And the only reason I got it is because I got George Perez sign it just before he passed away, and I wanted to slab it. Even though I have 5 other copies of it, I wanted to slab it. And also I bought it off the newsstand when I got it. I literally bought the copy for 45 cents or whatever it was. So I slabbed it just as a memento.
A historical artifact.
Yeah, because I met George like 100 times while he was alive over the years.
Right.
And he signed 1 million copies of books for me for nothing. Back then you would go to a con in like 1994 and John Byrne would be there and you could bring 50 copies of the X-Men up and he would sign every one of them and it wouldn't cost you a dime. That's the way shit was, kids.
Right.
J. Scott Campbell, when he first came out with Gen 13, I brought like 20 copies of Gen 13 to his table. He signed every single one of them. It cost me nothing, not a cent. You meet J. Scott Campbell at a convention today, the first issue's free, and then it's like $10 or $20 every issue after that. So times have changed, kids. Times have changed.
You know who I paid for their signature for only one book? It was only $5. I think, or it might have been $10. I can't. It was $5 or $10 either way. It was Tom Orzechowski. He's like, I'll sign you a book, but you got to pay me. I'm like, okay, I don't care, man. Like,
wow.
But then, like, I got to talk to him for a little bit, and like, because like, I'm, just like a process nerd and everything too, obviously, so like I get to like talk to him about lettering, and he's like, he sent me like a book. He's like, I'll send you the best lettering book you can use. And I was like, okay, well, cool. And
great.
He's my friend on Facebook, and
nice.
I don't think he's like actually my friend on there because I never see his posts and he never sees mine, and I think he's very of a different political persuasion. So we probably best we don't cross anyways. But he sent me a cool PDF of like classic book about lettering.
Nice. I have those fonts in my folder that says fonts on my computer.
Oh yeah, no, I get all the I get all the stuff to do it.
Nice.
The little
nice.
The little
wow.
What the hell you call this thing?
It's a tracer thing.
It's like you change that to get
super cool.
Your lines. And
nice.
What you do is you put that like over your ruler where you want a line.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then you can just jump with your pencil from this one to that one, so you can get. It's just like ultimate tools.
That's French curves for letterers.
Yes. Well, I only have one French curve, but it's like the only one I've ever had. So
I got like 16 of them, and I never use them. And they're all right in front of me, and I totally do it by hand all the time. I'm like, what am I doing? You know what I like doing too? When I have to do like big spheres and stuff. Like one of my issues, I had like the cityscape of Mars or something. Oh, here it is. So see when I do stuff like this?
Yeah.
Do things like that. I'm in my cabinet taking out different size bowls and glasses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm sitting at my desk with my Bristol board out with cereal bowls. And my wife's like, what the hell are you doing with our cereal bowls? I'm like, I'm drawing, honey. Leave me alone. So, my cats are like, why are you taking my bowl, Dad?
doing with the bowl?
The cat's bowl is gone, and like I'm drawing circles with it.
I mean, people, sometimes they got to sacrifice.
Yeah, but anyway, so. But it's all process, and again, did you ever go to cons 25 years ago when no one was buying original art, and you'd pass by John Byrne and you have a pile of original artwork on his desk for $150, and you looked at it and you said, "Oh, that's too much money."
That's so much money.
And meanwhile, a single page goes for like 60,000 now.
Jeez, yeah,
crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
You look in like the old like Wizards and stuff, and it'll have like prices for stuff or like just crazy thing. And you're like,
yeah. When I was a kid, I could have bought the most expensive giant size X-Men one for like $60 is what it was going for in the comic book stores in like the 80s, early 80s, let's say 1982. I could have literally got several copies of giant size X-Men for like $100 a piece. And now what do they go for? 10 grand, 12 grand, something stupid like that. It's ridiculous, dude. It's crazy. And again, it's all about collectors. Because you could have went to the drugstore and got 6 copies that were bent in half hanging over the spinner rack, with your copy of Easy Rider and Cosmo. That's kind of the way it was back then. But, now you're looking at, you go to a comic book show, it's a 9.2 copy of it, and it's $10,000 or $5,000. And, that shit was $1 or 45 cents or whatever. So, it's crazy collectability, collector's market. Back before 20 years ago, no one bought original artwork. No one was buying original pages of artwork. Except fans of the artist, but that market blew up,
I heard that in 20 years, you could expect that the original art for cover D and cover F is going to be the ones.
Yes.
Same.
Yes. The one with the robot with the 3 alien women on it, that is going to be worth at least $200 in 20 years from now. I got it at $150 right now, so get it while the getting's good, okay?
I mean, that's the thing too. Is like, I mean, you look back and like there are like all the weird like underground comics and stuff, like that. Who's the one? Gary Panter, the guy he designed the props and like the furniture and stuff for like Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah.
And he did just all these, bizarre, like, scribble looking like underground comics, like, like I make, and that stuff is like, you find one of those on eBay or something, it's a couple $100 at least,
right.
I mean, there's tons of stuff like that. These guys that are just,
and the thing is too, I've had folks at conventions buy a lot of original art from me with the hopes that I'm going to be famous or something. I mean, think about it. If there's a Netflix producer right now watching this thinking, I really want to do a sci-fi show with a red-skinned alien girl, and they sign it up and they contact me, all of a sudden that $150 cover could be worth at least $500 by the end of the week. You know what I mean? That's the way it is, and it's like, I kept my first 10 pages of art I've done professionally. I kept them. I won't sell them just in case that ever happens. My kids would be set up. People like Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee, their children must be ecstatic. I mean, they must have a couple of copies of their dad's artwork that they can sell for $600,000 if they die. I've heard Rob Liefeld say all the time that he's got 20 or 30 pages stashed away for his children.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, pages from X-Force, first appearances of things, he's got them set aside for his family. Because that even 10, 20 years from now, someone's going to buy that for $100,000.
Oh, yeah.
So it is what it is. Smart. It's, you should always invest in yourself too, So, I do have artwork set aside. this current issue of Venerella, I have all the covers for sale. They're all available. However, my very first issue of Venerella and my first issue of Misty America, I have several covers from those issues that are still in my portfolio and will never be for sale. Because for some reason, if somehow my artwork does catch on or someone picks my stuff up out of the ether and I become the next Bob Dylan or Beatles of comic books, I will have that artwork for my own investment and my own art. So, but that page you're looking at right now, you can get that for $150 as we speak. Boom. So, all right. So please, Doc, I imagine you got to go. Don't you have another show to get on?
Yeah, I'm supposed to go over there with
I'm sorry I kept you. I can't tell you how thankful I am for this opportunity.
Yeah, fantastic. That's what I'm saying. Like, I love being able to like pick people's brains and just find just doing this. You know what I mean? Like getting to hear like what people's stories is, and that's
what's your story too. I've waxed poetic about my own. Tell me a little bit about your background.
Born from a black egg. I've got my weird goth true crime history, but I started making like comics in 2011, and it was like that was when I like finally figured out how to make them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it was like I just never could understand like even just the process of it, like how you would write them and how you would turn that into a pay. Like I was just, I was a cook for a while. I'd gone to culinary school, and so 2011, I started making weird little indie comics, and just been doing it since then. I did just everything I could to figure out how to make comics and how to be in the comic industry or whatever. So like I did reviews for different places. I would submit little one-page comics to all kinds of weird anthologies, and started interviewing people. I interviewed Frank Cho.
Nice.
I didn't really know who he was though, and I think it kind of annoyed him, but it was a fun interview nonetheless. And like I'm saying, like I haven't gotten like interviewed like huge people, but I always try to make just the best of my time. Like I try to like really figure out comics, and like I study them. I think right now I'm doing I do illustrations for a Jack the Ripper magazine called Ripperologist.
Why don't you make yourself large so people can see us? There you go.
Me getting bigger.
Nice. This
is the one I just sent to them.
Yeah. Is that John in that picture?
Actually, it is. It was the story about this guy that was missing both his legs and an arm, and he'd attacked the highlight was just like a story from the paper, and it was that he had attacked a man named Malin.
Oh.
So I was like, oh shit! I'm like, I gotta draw that for these guys,
Yeah.
But
it's funny,
and like it's what I'm saying. Like every issue, I send them like a few illustrations, or like another one of John Wilkes Booth.
Nice.
Meeting Francis Tumblety. That's what I'm saying. Like it's just like a digital magazine, but it's like an academic thing, I guess. So it's more I don't know. Like it's not like a horror magazine. Like it's just it's called Ripperologist, the Journal of Victorian.
How long have you been reading comics?
Oh, since like forever. What's what I'm saying?
I can honestly say I've been reading comics for 50 years.
Let's see. I'm thinking I started buying comics must have been in around 89.
Okay.
90. Before that was like reading all the the newspaper strips and everything. But then once I figured out there was comic books, I started getting them, and You know,
Yeah,
that's
I got
the
I
thing.
got my first stack of comics in 1975. So
Damn.
50 years. 50 years of comics. And I've been reading them and enjoying them and loving them. I grew up as an only child. Let me rephrase that. I was an only child till I was 17. I have a younger sister.
Okay.
So I've spent my entire childhood and my, beginning of my high school years as an only child. I grew up in Staten Island, New York. First half of my life was in a very bad neighborhood, so I didn't go out a lot. So I was your typical, hey, I stayed home and, created my own entertainment. And comic books and drawing had a lot to do with it. I actually tried breaking into comics in the early 90s. I was going to conventions, handing them scripts and, full comics. I had this comic called The Enchanted, which was about a bunch of high school students got like morphed into this other dimension where they had magic powers, almost like Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon show, but not. That's the only comparison. Or like Jumanji, like the Dwayne Johnson Jumanji, where they were superpowered avatars in another dimension, but they were normal high school kids in reality. Anyway, based on the X-Men, Teen Titans kind of vibe too, couple girls, couple guys, some sexual tension between them, blah, blah, blah. I tried pitching that for years, but I got, several marriages and houses and jobs and stuff kind of, and I was always a musician on the side trying to do that too. So there was always distractions. And I stopped reading books for about 10, 12, 13 years almost. And let me tell you something ironic. You want to bring this conversation back full circle? First comic I bought after not buying or reading comics for a good 10, 12 years was Green Lantern Rebirth, drawn by Ethan Van Sciver.
Nice.
True story. True fucking story. First comic I bought in 12 years. And after that, I started reading them again. And then at some point about 5 years before COVID, I stopped reading comics again for a few years. And then I picked them up again just like a year or two before COVID. And then I started publishing them because then I saw like that you could do it yourself, or maybe I had a good enough job that I could fund it myself and start it up,
Right.
And then of course COVID came while my COVID started when I first did my first like crowdfunding. So it was like, oh, this is perfect. The disease keeping people indoors. And I actually had really good sales because of that too. And that's when the whole Comixgate thing was getting a lot of publicity just before COVID. So, but before that, I had never heard of Indiegogo or Kickstarter or any of that shit. I had never heard of any of it. I was just publishing comics to put them in stores. In fact, I had a store at Jim Haney's Universe in New York. And then COVID happened and they all got thrown away or the stores closed or whatever. And it was, it was kind of a brag right to me to say that my books were in Jim Hanley's Universe, which was a big chain in New York.
Right.
There were stores on Staten Island and also Manhattan. And you could get, oh my God, number 1 and 2 at those stores. But then, the world went to shit. So, whether it realistically went to shit or not, the market went to shit,
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of figuring out how,
right.
You can't, the market's always changes. So,
Sure.
I mean, that's.
Well, it's all about this YouTube and the whatnot and the eBay and the crowdfunding. It's all about that. It's just, however, being an old guy, like I said, I do like going into stores, If I could buy Comixgate books in stores, I would actually rather do that than order them on Indiegogo as I'm trying to promote my Indiegogo site. It's just what it is. I mean, it is still it's a good feeling to physically go to a place in my life and actually pull something down or look at it first.
I don't think there's any way that comics would just be, even if Marvel and DC both just say, we're not going to publish any more comics, we're done, and it's just comic shops are still going to be around in some form.
Yeah, of course.
And I mean, there is something about having your book in a shop. I mean, that's you go to
GameStop. GameStop still exists regardless of what you can order. Like I'm not a gamer, but I have a 16-year-old son who is.
Right.
And I know he doesn't physically buy copies of games like he used to, because you can just go on your PlayStation Plus whatever account and just get it. Because he's always having me buy cards for him for his store. So, but at the same time, it is nice having a physical copy of something. Like you can like Spotify till the cows come home, but every now and then you may want to buy a vinyl record or a CD still of your favorite musical act. I would hope.
Yeah.
I know I do. So
there's like a whole resurgence of people making like cassette tapes again.
I know, and I just recently got a boombox from an estate sale that has a dual cassette player in it. I did. In fact, I was cleaning my garage last week, and instead of bringing my phone or any kind of Bluetoothy device I actually physically plugged in the boombox.
Oh yeah.
Got it on top of my laundry machine and got an old like copy of a Pink Floyd cassette and played it. I had Queen's Greatest Hits. Again, going full circle back to Neil Gaiman. I had Queen's Greatest Hits and a copy of Pink Floyd Meddle, Meddle, and I played them on my cassette player while I was cleaning out the garage. So.
Oh yeah. No, I always listen to tapes. Like I know how to like go into like time, like how long like to take a shower by like how many.
Yeah, exactly. I have you see, you're old school there, Doc. I have a whole bookshelf in my garage full of VHS tapes. And I don't mean blank ones. I mean real ones, like Suncoast Video, Sam Goody like quality. I have the entire I think I have two sets of the entire James Bond collection minus the Daniel Craig movies. So everything from Sean Connery to that one guy to Roger Moore, all the Timothy Dalton, all the Roger, what's his name? Pierce Brosnan, Roger Moore, all that shit. I have every single James Bond movie on VHS, and I have all the Indiana Jones. And then I have all the Pauly Shore, Brendan Fraser movies, and the Woody Harrelson movies, and all the classics like Seven and all that. And in horror movies that you can never get on DVD and would never be able to get, and then Power Rangers VHSs and Star Wars and whatever else I could find. I had a Goodwill down here in Florida that they used to have a ton of VHS, and they literally would sell 10 VHS tapes for $2.
Oh yeah.
So I remember going and buying like 60 great movies, and now they're just collecting dust in my garage. But I hear there's a resurgence, especially in the horror genre. I think there's whole conventions where all they sell is VHS movies. And by the way, a great way to get good concert films too. Like, say you're a Metallica fan, that whole Binge, Shit, and Purge box set that they had years ago, that was, I believe, only on VHS when it came out. And then like Pink Floyd, Delicate Sound of Thunder, and Paul McCartney, and all these concerts that never were released on DVD. You can find them on VHS, or if you want like Lita Ford's Greatest Hits or stupid shit like that, Bangles or whatever the hell you're into,
Bangles.
Yeah. Walk like an Egyptian, man.
I mean, I do, but
yeah. It's going to be a manic Monday tomorrow.
Oh man. I am excited. This should be a good episode.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it greatly. We have a good
that's what I'm saying. Like, you're always welcome like this. I mean, like,
thank you very much.
I'll put the link in when I do like reviews and stuff. And like I don't know if you've seen the other. Usually Mr. Self Destruct is usually hanging around. I don't know
what you turned me on to a channel too that I forget the name of it, but I started watching it. It was you turned me on to these guys that were into outlaw comics and stuff, and I forget the name of it. But I loved it. They did some stuff on Tim Vigil too, I think. You had sent me a link when you had done my review. You sent me a link to someone.
Those the Power Comics guys.
Yes, Power Comics. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys.
But it doesn't seem like they have a lot of videos up, or at least when you pointed it to me, it's like the last video was like 3 months ago. Before that, or something like that. I don't know. I was really, again, like, to be honest with you, let's go back, say 8 years ago when I started watching Cartoonist Kayfabe. That's what I liked about it. I didn't mind when they did stuff on Jim Lee or Mark Silvestri, but I really liked when they did stories about, TMNT early issues, or they did stuff on, real obscure Frank Miller stuff, Sin City, or like when they did stuff on Steranko, like his stuff, where they would go hard and heavy into Love and Rockets and Terry Moore's type stuff and everything, and you would get information on stuff that you didn't know before, because no one had really done. Unless you read Comics Journal from 30 years ago, you didn't see stuff on that, and it's not like Wizard was covering a lot of cool indie stuff unless it was selling. You know what I mean?
Right.
You didn't know about James O'Barr from Wizard columns, unless it was something about the movies, the Brandon Lee movie.
Wizard was how I learned. I mean, that's what I'm saying. For me, like, I was just like 13 or 14 or something when I found like Wizard, and it was only on the issue like 12 or 13 as well. So it was like when it was just like, you remember like Poison Elves, right?
Yeah.
Which issue is that? Oh, is that the Silvestri cover?
No, it's Ballant, actually.
Was that the?
I literally had it on my desk. Jim Ballant doing the X-Men girls or whatever.
That's what got me into like. I remember ordering that Poison Elves comic from Drew Hayes.
Yeah. And
like getting that at my local shop, and like,
yeah,
that was how I learned about so much the difference. Like Mike Allred was what I found in there for the first time, and like they had that at my comic shop. Like I remember they had like the Tundra issues of Madman. It was just
I used to pick up Wizard at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
like my local 7-Eleven would have Wizard.
It seems like there was like
you didn't have to buy it in a comic book store. You could get
they had two versions of it. Like they had the comic shop version that had like that was bagged,
the poly bag, but then
had the cards, and then you could also just get like the version
if you went into Walden Books or B. Dalton, you get the one with just the normal version. Yeah. There's kids going to be watching this. What's a B. Dalton? What's a Walden Books?
But there's still Barnes and Nobles here.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, and I've heard that Instagram is supposed to be really good for comics, but like I've never cracked like whatever you're supposed to do on there. I mean, I know that's why like I read comics on there, and I find like people on there.
Yeah.
But
well, I think Instagram used to be better for comics about 10 years ago because it's an art-based, picture-based thing.
Well, that's what I mean. Like you can do.
Then the algorithm changed it. Once you had reels and stuff, just like everything else, it all became about 10-second videos instead of actual artwork. You know what I mean? Like people would when Instagram first came out 12 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was, it would be, hey, look at the food I had tonight to eat, or look at my girlfriend, or look at my dog, or look at my artwork, right? And then it's all ads now, just like every bit of social media is. Even X is all ads. It's all ads that pop up for people that you're not following. And Instagram's the same way. Instagram, there's if you follow 10 people, you're going to see 10 people, those 10 people on your feed, and then you're going to see 100 ads related to things that you're looking up on your.
Right. Yeah. Well, you have to you can't just you've got to search for what you
Right.
want to see. You can't
But years ago, though, Instagram didn't have ads like that, or suggested followers. It would be just the people you were looking for. So if you follow Jim Ballon or J. Scott Campbell or Jim Lee, you would only see stuff related to that sort of thing. But now your Instagram feed, just like your Facebook feed and everything else, isn't just your people that you want to see stuff from. It's all this suggested content. Okay, here's the new film from A24 Studios. Well, that's great. I do like movies, but I didn't ask you to put that on my feed, and you did. So it is what it is. But whatever you find on your Instagram, please look up me on Instagram. It's Wild Mercury Comics, and pick up some Venerella. Instant message me there, and I'll send you something.
Oh, yeah.
Venerella number 4, everybody. Number 4. The saga continues.
Saga continues. All right. Well, I'll go. I think that's a good spot. Because that's what I'm saying. And if you want to hang around, well, I'm going to go over to Omer's afterward. But that's what I'm saying. If you want to come over too, that's what I'm saying.
Well, send me an invite. I don't know if I have other obligations in the room next to me right now, but I will see. I will definitely say that. And see, that's it. I'm so antisocial on the social networks. That's why I'm not selling more.
I'm not going to hang out. Well, I mean, you saw Omer already.
I love hanging out with people.
I like to hang out with
I love people on YouTube. And by the way, Omar sounds like a fun time.
Yes, he is a fun. That's what I'm saying. He's I've been just hanging out with him for a little while, and he's just one of those people that just has a lot of just real positive energy and
Well, send me an invite. I'll come on and say hi. Okay.
All right.
Or have him send me an invite, and I'll maybe stop in for a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm easy.
I'll play this one as the outro.
I'm a real whore. I'll go on anybody's show.
All right. Well, everyone, that is Anthony Sica. I'll put the links down below, and it'll be on the the description and everything. We can go to Indiegogo, Venerella, issue number 4, and then
I should have just done a video like that with a Venerella 4.
So, till the next time, and this was Anthony Sica and me, your favorite friendly neighborhood DrBensComix. Once again, till the next time, don't do nothing I wouldn't do.
And pick up VAMPIGLET too.
Oh yeah, pick up. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to toot my own horn when people are here. Other people don't want to hear my tooting.
Venerella, VAMPIGLET seems like a natural thing. We're both copying Vampirella. Sorry.
We'll get it. It'll be. All right.
You took the first half of the name. I took the second. See how it worked?
Yeah. I'm saying it'd be like a good crossover.
In fact, if you put our books together, it's Vampirella.
Oh shit, that would be good. All right. I'm into that.
All right, crossover coming, buddy. Crossover coming.
Hell yeah.
背景としても営んでいる。それをなぜに逆らう